The final round is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a little bit more emotional than we see. There's a lot on the line. Kristin being here in her home country, I'm sure she wants to win it so bad. Silva having some history here. It's going to be really interesting. I think Kristin probably will take it down, but you just never know out here, and that's the fun.
I think having the major for the first time ever in her home country, I think we could see Kristin dig deeper than ever. She looked almost like she was glowing on the course today, so confident, kept her round super clean. I think we will see the return of Kristin again tomorrow for Championship Sunday.
Ella had to have had fun last round, shooting a 9-down course record. I mean, Ella plays best when she's relaxed and having fun. We see her struggle a little bit sometimes on lead card with some of the nerves, so if she just goes out there and tries to throw some cool shots, maybe set a new course record, she could definitely take it down.
This course is going to highlight Valerie Mandujano's game every single time. She's a master of angle control, and I think that this course demands that. It doesn't matter if you have a forehand, it doesn't matter if you have a backhand. It's all about if you can get your disc to go on the right angle down the fairway and land softly, and that is what Valerie is so good at. I think we're going to see Valerie Mandujano continue to stack birdies tomorrow on Championship Sunday.
Yeah, Silva has a few more wins under her belt than she had the last time she battled Kristin at this venue, and I think she's probably itching for some revenge here. We know she's calm and composed. We know she can make the putts. She has all of the angles. I think it's going to be mostly about just kind of composure and keeping your emotions in check and attacking and taking what the course gives you. Because you can get some bad breaks out there, you can find some out of bounds, but you just have to keep battling out there.
Hello and welcome to the 2025 European Disc Golf Festival presented by Coolbet. We've made it to Championship Sunday in our third major of the year. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. We're the Two Hot Geese.
Honk.
So happy to be here for the final round of this major. It's shaping up to be a really exciting match. All the leaders on the card here within five strokes of each other. So that's surmountable out here at this course.
Yeah, and really anything can happen. This is a course where any hole you can take a quadruple bogey on so quickly. The pins are in some dangerous positions. Lots of roped OB. I think 2.5 kilometers of roped OB at this course. So we are in for a wild ride today.
Starting off with hole 1, it's a par 5, 837 feet. You can see the roped OB on either side. You see a big shot kind of into the second patch of grass. I think we've seen some of the biggest into the third, but first or second's all you need to get the birdie. It is a very achievable birdie. We haven't seen anyone attack for eagle here. You want to make sure you get your final approach shot close to the pin, or at least level with it, because it's a very sloped OB and you don't want to be putting up at this. There's rollaway potential. Kristin Lätt, your leader, by 3 strokes. Big moment for her in front of all her countrymen and women.
And look at the grand entrance they have for us here at the European Disc Golf Festival. We got smoke machines. We've got a huge screen. This is really one of the coolest feeling sporting events that I've ever been a part of. It's one of the biggest disc golf events that they've put on, really, I think, in disc golf's very long career.
Yes, definitely feels bigger, more exciting. I mean, look, there's like a 18-foot tall Valerie next to the real Valerie. That's, it's big stuff.
Kristin, going into today with some jitters. She's got a storied history here at this event. And now that it has its major designation, you know she wants it more than ever.
Shooting an 8 down yesterday, the previous course record. And she was able to string together 5 in a row, which is one of the best kind of strings of birdies we've seen. We haven't seen Silva yet this event other than some check-ins, so just coming to the lead card on the final day. In those check-ins, we saw her make some huge putts, shooting a 5 down to join us.
Silva, also a master of angles, which is so important on this course.
And a master of C2 putts.
True. You find yourself there so often.
And a master of standstill. Master of a lot of different skills.
Including this tee shot. Ella with a monster forehand, monster backhand, and her putts really shaping up nicely as the weekend has moved on.
She shot 9 down yesterday to be 10 down currently, which is insane. She jumped 15 spots to be on the lead card and holds the current course record.
Yeah, she really found her putting stroke and hoping she can hold on to it today. It's like catching a butterfly sometimes.
Ella was able to string together 6 birdies yesterday, and I think it's gotta... I'll save it. Valerie shooting a 5 down yesterday, the same as Silva. Valerie did make a nice birdie on 18 to clinch the lead card spot here. And 5 down is obviously such a good score out here, but I would hazard to guess that you need more than that to win today. Some nice tee shots.
Yeah, Valerie really showing us her distance the few times that we've seen her at this event.
From back here, you're usually just kind of landing a little short or left of that corner. And that was maybe like not some great footing, but plenty of distance from Silva.
Yeah, it gets a little pathway skip at the end as well, adding a few feet of distance.
Kristin had an unfortunate stake hit into the OB yesterday, so she's keeping it so far in bounds today. Not messing around at all.
Hole 1 usually plays as one of the easier holes of the day. Today in the top 4, with half the field birdieing it. We did have a just over 50% cut today. 28 out of 48 competitors playing in round 4, where only 22 competitors will be cashing. So there is a battle at the cash line as well that we can follow as we go.
Ella pushing that right side corner. She's going to land nice and safe. Should be a simple birdie from there. Valerie with a nice shot as well, out driving the card. Everything's bigger in Texas.
Ella said big arm Val.
It's funny. I almost just said that.
Just a little
sawed off.
Yeah, a little sawed off from Valerie, but it gets some nice forward momentum. She's going to have a long putt inside the circle for birdie.
We'll call it a medium putt.
Medium.
Short putt.
Medium.
Medium.
Kristin from further left on the fairway than yesterday. Throwing a great tee shot into the sloped green.
A good correction from yesterday. Unforced error from Silva. She is inside the circle and probably good for it, but you'd like to be closer than that.
Yeah, being high on the high side of the green too makes this putt a little scary. Ella close enough to just chip a sidearm.
I like that play to minimize any sort of roll-away potential.
Silva right out the gate on line. Good pacing as well. Just a couple inches low. She still has a very easy par here. But this is one that you do want to get, especially being in the position to battle for the win.
Par does not feel very good on this one. On the rest of the course, it does.
Yeah.
But here you want the birdie. Valerie converting nicely. Ella still with a tester here. And a little more time on the routine, it looked like, from Ella. Dealing with some putting nerves, perhaps, on the first putt here. Oh, surprising miss.
Yeah, the hole one nerves, I think, are the worst nerves on the course until you get to the very end.
Or at least till hole 2, anyway.
Only one birdie on our lead card on hole 1. Very surprising.
Yeah. Big gallery, major on the line. Of course, there's going to be nerves out there. It's perhaps just a matter of who can master them first.
Also, we're just waiting for the day when we're going to have bad weather to have to deal with, but nope. Well, we only have our own heads because it continues to be warm and sunny and temperate and calm.
I almost prefer being able to blame it on the bad weather, actually.
I know. Here's hole 2. This one we can blame on the pin placement, honestly. It's the longer of the 2 that we play this weekend. You can see this really happy little basket up in the flat. That's not the one that we're going to. You can see the band of the second one, and it is on a very brutal side hill. It's only, I would say, 30 feet further, but the landing area is not friendly at all, and any rolls can find out of bounds at the bottom of a very, very long, steep hill. I like a backhand turning shot here, letting it kind of finish left into the hill. Forehands can work as well. Valerie getting a little bit too much fade with a lot of speed on it. Almost kicks off the out of bounds fence back in bounds, but unfortunately she will be out of bounds. It looks like she is deep of the pin, which is a really big advantage for putting. Kristin trying to go deep as well, but
the dreaded roll away. Hopefully she checks up before the out of bounds line.
It almost seems like it's impossible to not roll on this hill.
Yeah, I like the short pin placement. I think it's fair. I think it's still really dangerous with the hill, but this one is so tough because you can't even really lay up super effectively, and the amount of out of bounds stroke has increased significantly in the long pin position. Silva gonna add to that tally.
Yeah, this pin placement almost feels a little bit silly. It's one of my few critiques of the course.
Yeah, overall, I think the course is great.
It's wonderful.
But
they did a lovely job.
Just a bit too steep of a hill to stick a pin on. And Ella, I think, stays close and might even have a putt.
Kristin from probably 50 feet, 15 meters-ish. She's going to chip a sidearm up this steep hill. It's too low ceiling to try to run at that putt. You think, oh, well, you know, an uphill backboard, maybe I'll try to run at it. But there's no way to get your disc in the air.
Valerie with no real look at it, just going to lay up for par.
This played is the second most difficult hole of the day.
Whoa.
Yep, only 3 competitors got to circle 1 in regulation, and I bet a lot of those were from the out-of-bounds line, like we see Silva here.
Yeah, I wonder if she counts towards that stat. She doesn't, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Nice par save from Silva. Definitely staring that death putt right in the face and lacing it.
Yeah,
this is my biggest beef, honestly, because if you get all the way here with a good shot, they Trim those branches. Trim them.
There's no way to putt from the right side of the green, which is the safe side to land on.
Yeah, I think Ella's tee shot was about as perfect as you can do it.
Agreed.
And you just want to see it rewarded.
After watching our lead card play, you can see why it's not much of a surprise that there were no birdies in the FPO field today.
Dang.
Yep.
Again, for the most part, I think this course is fantastic.
Yep.
Just this one pin position, not the geese's fave.
Not anyone's fave.
I'm including everyone as geese now.
The whole field?
Yeah.
We're off block. What a putt from Silva. Really great momentum boost.
Hole 3, a par 3, 305 feet. Gotta shoot this narrow gap. It is a little bit more narrow than it looks, but I think the main difficulty is actually the low ceiling. As far as if you want to park the hole, you aren't really able to give it a whole lot of power or shape through the gap. So finding the circle is incredibly difficult for this distance of a hole. It's surprising that most good shots land in circle 2. Gotta be careful if the OB as well can come into play, and if you're not really on it, you can find one of those trees and kick out of bounds pretty early, making even bogey sometimes surprisingly difficult to save. I love the forehand. Kristin with one of the few in the field able to get all the way to the circle. We saw her do it yesterday with the forehand.
And she just pushes towards OB the entire flight, fading at the perfect moment right outside of the bullseye. What an incredible shot.
Gorgeous.
Silva going to try to work a backhand here. You can throw a hyzer flip shot that turns all the way up the left side, or you can try to flex something through those two big trees on the right. Silva gonna keep it low like most players do if they're trying to throw a little bit of a safer shot, and she is not going to be quite on the putting surface.
Ella, one of the other few FPO who have enough power on her forehand to get there, just a touch high on that one, but it drops safe.
And that's really all you can ask for if you catch any of these early trees.
All I can ask for is one of those ice cream beanbag chairs for home use. They are lovely.
To take with you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Valerie, trickling, I bet she's just barely OB.
Nice little chip forehand from Ella onto the green. Only 5 competitors got to circle 1 in regulation, and just a reminder, this is out of our 29 total today instead of 48. 29 with the ties. Valerie not able to run the putt to try to save the par. Gonna have to settle for a bogey here.
Couple bogeys in a row does not feel great on these first couple holes. If you haven't been watching, holes 7 and 8 have played as the 2 hardest every day, so you want to be under par going into those. Looks like everyone but Kristin kind of off the pace they set for themselves yesterday.
Kristin with the only look for birdie.
Ooh.
Oh, goodness. She found that low left pocket that these baskets do not like, but thankfully the cage saves the day. She's going to be in for 2. She will be one of only 2 competitors to get the birdie today. Shout out to Hannah Blumros, also from Circle 1.
Gosh, you really have to be center on these baskets. Ella in a tie for 5th. Valerie sliding back to 7th. Looks like Henna with that birdie and a few others is 5 down through 7, moving up the leaderboard.
I love hole 4 at 525 feet. It's 2 highly technical shots. This first one, you have to get through this gap and not be too straight and not be too have too much fade at the end of the flight. You want to be ideally in this little landing zone right here to set yourself up to this pin position that we play. Different from the one that we're passing on the left where you throw a spike hyzer. This one is a really, really fun tunnel shot. You will see some spike hyzers as well for players that are slightly out of position, especially the power players, but I like a mid-range right up the middle. OB comes up very fast behind the basket, so got to be careful coming in.
Kristin, same as yesterday, early but sneaking through the corner. She could birdie from there. I think today the straighter play or slower speed disc just to land in the middle makes sense in the straight pin position versus the left pin position.
Mm-hmm.
The placement matters so much more. That looks great.
Yep. And Silva going for big distance here. She unfortunately is going to get stuck under that one tree to miss, but with her standstill abilities, she can still probably find a swing.
Yeah, I think so.
Ella throwing something overstable, trying to make sure she gets a little more left in the gap. I bet she's eyeing up a forehand for the second shot.
That was really good control from Ella. Valerie pushing the right side a little bit, catches some leaves and gonna drop at least still somewhere where she can get a full swing. I don't know about a run up from there though. She's got something. How far do you think?
That's a really good question. I was just thinking about that. Like maybe 300?
I was gonna say 275 to 3, maybe.
Valerie coming up right on the edge of the circle with a really nice shot through that tight gap. It's only about 20 feet wide.
Maybe this is 275. It's still a ways.
Yeah.
Kristin kind of overturning that shot a little low. Gets most of the way there, but good shape if it had a little more height under it. Love this play from Ella.
Yes, really nice management of the angle coming into the green. Almost does a little mini spike. Silva, unfortunately, going to have to take a knee. But she is really, really good at still engaging her hips. And look at this.
Dang, punished. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that branch took a lot of spin off of it. This hole played as the third easiest hole of the day today. Everyone very much enjoying this alternate pin position.
Silva might even be outside circle 2 here.
Giving a really good bid.
Kristin just going to lay this one up. Probably smart for her to not push too hard. Just take the birdies as they come. Valerie needing some green. Girl!
Oh, yes!
Ooh. They should clap louder for that. That's a huge putt.
That's huge. That's going to get her back to even par as well. Let's start all over.
Poetry in motion.
Yes. Look at that full extension jump putt.
This looked pure the whole time. Dead center.
That's from 55 feet. 15, just over 15 meters.
Ella for her first birdie of the round. Not to be big putted. And Silva and Kristin gonna take pars. Man, cool putt from Valerie. That's a slow mess to show the grandchildren someday. Really good one.
We saw Valerie with the Christmas lights yesterday, and hopefully she can get off this train today.
What's going on, guys? Hold My Bag just launched the greatest disc golf fantasy game in the universe.
Hold My Bag just dropped the best fantasy disc golf game the planet has ever seen.
I want to tell you guys about the newest disc golf fantasy game on the market.
One of my favorite parts is the Hold My Bag. This is something that we started doing, and it's actually a lot of fun.
Hole 5 is a par 3, 351 feet. A really pretty tunnel shot. There is OB on the right that we don't really see come into play unless you saw off a sidearm or perhaps really overturn a backhand with a nice late turn. You want to punch all the way down this tunnel. Mostly you see backhands with kind of a baby flex that end up maybe on the edge of circle or just kind of just outside the circle to the left. To get a late turn that turns all the way to the basket and stays in circle 1 is a really highly technical shot. I do like the sidearm, but it is hard to get all the way inside the circle as well.
Yeah, you either have to push those trees on the left side like we see Ella doing, or your disc ends up fading out really early and messing around with that drop-off hill on the right side. Ella getting a little lucky through the trees, and she's going to come up just a bit short as well, but have a little bit of a friendlier putt.
That's the nice thing about the sidearm. You aren't worried about the hill on the putt. Valerie trying to use the full width of the fairway, but never really gets it turning.
I really like this hole. I think this is such a cool challenge for the FPO skill set. I like that you can pull out a slower speed disc as well if that's what you're comfortable with.
Yeah, it's weird. It's one of those ones that does feel a little shorter than 350.
It sure does.
That is as good as you can draw it up from Kristin.
Silva kind of turns this one, burns a little early. She'll be in circle 2, but again, just like Ella, in a spot where it's a lot more considerable to run this putt without as big of risk. Valerie likely just going to lay this one up.
Silva never one to lay up. Catches band. Wow, she knew right out of her hand.
She sure did.
So quickly out of her hand. You see how fast she was at grabbing her disc. Ella also lining up the circle 2 putt.
She misses right, which is the side you don't want to miss on, but it looks like it's sat down.
Looks obstructed, though.
Kristin, just a little bit early again, out of the hand on the putt. She doesn't look like she's quite fully committed. She does have a little wiggle room here, but you can see maybe some nerves.
I would love to know if she's a little bit more nervous than normal to win at home.
Yeah, for like any other tournament she's in the running for, which is like every tournament.
Right.
Like she's had more practice winning than than most people lately in the last few years, but this one, she's got to want it. She wants it so bad. And just to comment on that, it's so cool to see the Estonian people come out in full force.
Oh,
the
yeah.
amount of support that Kristin has in this country is unbelievable.
It really is.
Just random people on the street know who she is. Everyone's showing up, showing out. Everyone's wearing their Kristin Lätt gear.
They are, yeah.
It's so cool.
Ton of outfits out there today. It was cool to see.
Everyone looking real cute.
Kristin still with a 4-stroke lead over Silva. Holland Hanley, Missy Gannon making some moves. Ella still in a tie for 3rd.
One of my favorite holes on the course. This par 4 is so fun to attack. You see hyzers on the right side, you see turning shots on the left, or you see a lot of players choosing to go over the top. But the thing is, this OB really pinches in on the left side, a lot of just trickling and finding that. What's nice is that you can recover the par from that out of bounds with a Technical shot navigating all of these trees. I think the low-hanging branches are more difficult to navigate than the trees. You see a lot of players' second shots tickling and dropping down early. This hole is just a really fun one to attack, and I love that you can go a million different ways to do it.
Ella getting big distance on this flex shot.
Huge distance.
So good.
Did that go farther than Evelina's from the other day?
It did, or about the same distance,
Yeah.
but closer to the pin, not tucked behind that tree.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, she should have like a fairly open look, possibly still a sidearm from there. Here's what most of the field is doing. Still a great shot. Takes a much bigger second shot to get to the pin from there.
Yeah, Valerie did a great job managing that angle. That was such a weird little tertiary roll bounce.
Whoa.
Yeah, it wasn't the first or the second skip.
I know. No, yeah, it was the third. You're right. I just really like the use of tertiary.
Kristin taking it to the skies, putting a lot of air under that. And that is how you can find the OB pretty quickly, but she's not worried about it because
Wow.
she is past the corner.
Even farther than Ella.
Wow.
Or closer, anyway. Perfect angle.
Silva going to take the hyzer angle on the right side. She is really going to trust her ability to throw that second shot and not try to bite off too much and bring OB into play.
I like to imagine they all stopped in the music box and sang a couple notes in there before moving on to this shot.
They obviously did.
Yeah. A standstill approach from Silva. Almost gets to circle one. She'll have to make a circle two putt for her first birdie of the round.
Valerie right on the OB line. She's going to throw out of bounds.
Pretty.
Yeah, beautiful flexing shot.
Perfect control.
Ella with just a standstill little chip sidearm.
So crazy.
That's
Ooh.
great.
Really cool to see the FPO field go so big off this tee shot.
Love Ella playing the skip here.
Right height.
Kristin with a similar angle and shot, just closer.
Perfect.
Silva in a very wide straddle here, trying to find a way to putt around this tree.
Oh, man. She's all over it. And it can feel so rough, as we've said many times before, just to get that first birdie to get your round going. Hard not to let that frustration get to you.
Valerie finds her way under par with another great looking putt. She's looking very smooth and confident on the green today.
Kristin cashing another birdie.
She's doing what she does best on Championship Sunday, just calmly stacking them up.
Cruising.
One here and there. Sprinkle another one in. There were 10 birdies on hole 6. A third of the field getting it right in the middle of the pack. And A+ course design for the FPO field.
Hole 7, a par 4, 541 feet. The most difficult course on the hole, 3 days in a row. I'm guessing today as well. Make the mandatory and get as far as you can. Ideally up the hill a little, but it's really hard to get your disc to fade up there. If you get far enough, you can consider going across on your second. There is a bailout zone to the right, which we see a lot of players utilize just to establish a lie, because if you do not make it onto that island, you just have to keep rethrowing until you do. So we have seen some big numbers here.
It's actually played as a tie for the third most difficult hole today. Maybe players learning how to manage the risk of the second shot. I have been calling the right side of that island a bailout zone, but it's honestly not easy to reach if you're a little bit short off the tee.
It's not.
It's kind of a second crush, and you can overthrow it as well. It works great if you have a huge distance off the tee and decide not to go for the birdie, but that's not going to happen very often watching this lead card. If they got big distance, they are going for the island.
This is one, though, where, yeah, it's so tough because it's not that hard if you play it for par by using that right side. But if you're far enough, you got to go across.
Yeah.
You just got to.
Yep. We talked about it yesterday. This landings area is so sloped. It makes for some really weird footing if you are trying to go for that bailout zone. It's no easier to try to go for the island either. You're forced to throw sort of nose up, and in some spots, like where Silva's disc is going to land, you might not even be able to see the island. It's a blind shot.
And I think that's where that right side bailout play comes in handy. Looks like that's what Valerie's lining up. That one tree on the right is a good marker. You need to get at least that far to make the island. I'm not sure the distance on that. Maybe like 250?
Yeah, 250, maybe a little bit more. Valerie does a great job. As long as you get through those two trees, you're usually going to be okay.
Silva going standstill, the maniac.
Yeah, and she's going for the pin as well.
I say that respectfully. Yeah, that's why the maniac.
Wow.
Because there are so few women, so few players that are comfortable doing what she just did.
It's, man, it's so hard to tell you, the viewers at home, how hard this shot truly is. She's having to throw a big hyzer as well around that tree with so many low-hanging branches. So she's hitting a gap, she's hitting it high, and she's hitting it the perfect speed. The out of bounds is 15 feet behind the basket.
Yes. Ella set up perfectly for this sidearm. The speed control is everything here because you can skip out of bounds so easily. Wow.
Love that friendly little finish.
Yeah.
What a shot from Ella Hansen. She is stoked.
So good. She uses every inch of what she has available to make it on this island. And that's kind of what you have to do to attack. We have seen, we saw 2 birdies. We've seen like 2 or 3 birdies a day. Did we have any yesterday? I don't know that we did. No, we did.
We had only 1 yesterday.
Kristin going for that right side and just barely squeaking over. Yeah, we see very few birdies, so to see both Silva and Ella make it on is very exciting. Valerie's so good at these little standstill up shots. I have no problem a stress-free par, which feels great on the 7th.
Kristin with a similar play from yesterday, throwing her second shot into that little bailout zone, giving herself the putt.
She's using this corner, though, that I haven't seen anybody else do that.
No.
I think it's a really cool play with the forehand.
I do also.
I think with a little bit more time playing this hole, more women would go that way.
Silva with the birdie. What a flex. I think there's only been 4 on the weekend so far.
And what a first birdie of the round to get. That should give her some wind in the sails.
Silva, one of only 4 players to birdie it today. Cool to see the field figuring this one out just a little bit at a time. Besides Silva and Ella, Evelina, and Hina also birdieing this one.
Very nice. Kristin still with 4 strokes over Silva and Ella. Holding strong.
Moving into what is today the most difficult hole of the day. There's not really a way to figure out this hole anymore. There's no different way to approach it. This is one that you just have to throw it nice and straight as far as possible. Connect with any of the trees on the left and right, and you don't really have control over whether or not you end up out of bounds. It's 344 feet, plays closer to like 320, I would say. It's pretty downhill, which makes it a little bit more difficult to control the nose angle of your disc for how far it has to carry. We did have a light right to left wind, but nothing really to write home about. You can see Ella really trying to throw that as hard as she can to get it to flip up straight, and unfortunately she's going to grip lock and miss that early Mando.
That drop zone is no gimme for bogey.
Nope.
Still quite a long tunnel from there. Silva really great at a straight pushing shot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. What's crazy too, that looks perfect. She's still pretty deep in circle 2.
I think for good shots, the heat map of good shots, that's red hot.
Yeah.
Everyone is landing in circle 2.
Ooh, no. Valerie flipping hers too much. Gonna miss the mandatory as well.
Out of the 29 competitors playing today, 5 got to circle 1 in regulation. That is more than I was expecting.
Yeah.
That's great. See if Kristin can be one of them. Yes, she can.
Little hyzer flip.
Wow.
Wow. That, I feel like that is an exclamation point on I am beating you guys.
Yes. I mean, that is an incredible high-level shot. And kind of risky, too. It looked like she had a faster speed disc.
Yeah. Oh, no, it wasn't. No, I think it was her gold line compass.
Okay.
Unless this...
It's crazy how that compass can sometimes look like a fairway driver.
Yeah. Yeah.
Incredible. Yesterday, she hit a huge circle 2 putt on this hole in front of the whole gallery. Today, she's in circle 1. Ella struggling a little bit to get up the fairway, and that's kind of the story of this hole. Once you miss an early Mando or go out of bounds off one of the trees, you just chip your way up the hole.
It's weird to feel happy with a bogey on this one, but
absolutely,
you're stoked to save it. Silva, long look for birdie. She's all over the basket. Valerie trying to save her bogey after the miss mandatory. Do it.
Oh man,
perfect height.
Yeah, really great way to play the rest of the hole, but it so quickly turns into a double.
And this is big for some momentum. About to wrap up the front 9. Dang.
A little excitement kind of juices this one by the basket. She's got some work left to do for par.
A good comebacker.
Quick shout out to Matilda Ringbaum for parking this hole. So cool.
Yeah. Valerie unfortunately carding the double, as will Ella. Silva still keeping it nice and clean. 1 down through 8.
Over half the field with a bogey or worse on hole 8. Ooh, this hole's got teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we've got those 2 holes out of the way.
Yeah, right? Breathe one tiny sigh of relief. Kristin with more room now. She's 6 strokes ahead of 3rd place and 4 ahead of Silva. Hole 9 is a par 3, 344 feet, much longer than its previous iteration. There's, you can lay up, but we saw Valerie do it in round 2, so perhaps she will. Otherwise, you want to throw usually just a big hyzer. You got to get it past these weeping willow branches, because if you hit them, you are going to drop short OB most likely. I think it does play, it's weird. I guess it plays about exactly 344. It takes a lot of power on the hyzer, but you can get a flex shot there.
Mm-hmm.
That wall is pretty mean.
Yep.
You can't get ground play to get there. You have to pure it in the air.
Yeah, and the flex shot can also be punished by those very low-hanging willow branches.
Mm-hmm.
Silva kind of heading right towards the spot where Oh,
Dumb wall.
Even if she had pushed it a little bit farther, those branches kind of hang out over OB. You got to come in a little bit more on the right side of the green. Look at this.
Kristin across easily, but gonna have a circle 2 putt. That must have come closer to the pin than it looked from our angle. Let's see. Oh yeah, it was really close. Just left side.
Something I haven't even considered, going out of bounds on the green left.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet.
That's a lot of power required to get there.
If you want to park the hole, you got to leave it out farther to the right like this. Looks fantastic. We saw Ella hit cage on this one in practice.
Yeah.
With a skip shot. That was a fantastic shot.
And that little tree backboard is a really perfect place to land. Like Erika said, Valerie laid this one up yesterday. It looks like she's going for it today.
She actually went OB deep on the layup, which is just the worst feeling. So might as well go for it.
Yeah, she's like, not again.
Yeah, let me just bullseye it instead. Big arm Val.
Parking this hole. Look at this little hyzer flip shot.
They don't know how to do it small in Texas, I'm telling you.
There was some talk about commentators saying that all the guys on the lead card are throwing big hyzers, and then Paul has to flip one up, and people were like, why the hate? And Valerie goes, I'm doing the same thing whenever I'm playing on our lead card. And she was proud. I love it. Shout out to the hyzer flip gang.
Silva laying up her third, gonna concede the bogey. Pretty tough circle 2 look here. Kristin having to go an Anheuser putt at it. Really strong bid.
13 competitors making it over the wall into circle 1. Ella, one of those. What a nice little bounce back after that double bogey. She's not going on tilt. Not today. Silva recovering well after coming up so close.
Valerie having some blemishes on the scorecard, but still getting 4 birdies on the front 9. She's battling hard. Gonna be even par, as is Silva.
And closest to the pin on hole 9 is the flex. Let's do one more check-in before we go with Henna Blumroos. This is one of the hardest, I think the hardest par 3 on the course.
Yes.
Unless you have this, Henna, one of the farthest throwers in the field, and look at that angle control. We had a straight headwind with some right to left, and it made this hole harder than ever to play. But Henna parking it in the bullseye.
Looks like Evelina has the current hot round at 6 down through 15. Kristin with 5 strokes over Ella. That's starting to feel a little comfortable with the hardest holes behind you. And Silva obviously right there at that 5 strokes as well. Henna and Holland moving up. Valerie sliding back to solo 6th.
It's crazy that Evelina 6 down isn't moving her up the leaderboard more than that.
True.
Look at everyone shredding in the top 10. But the back 9, a lot of crazy things can happen. Thankfully, we did continue to have pretty calm conditions. Not as much wind as was predicted today. But yeah, pretty comfy lead from Kristin. A little surprising. I thought it'd be a little bit more of a battle.
There's time.
Yeah, we got 9 more holes. Thank you again for tuning in. Thanks to the Founders Club. Thanks to everyone that's already subscribed on the YouTubes. We're almost to 500,000. We'll see you guys on the back 9 here at the European Disc Golf Festival here in Tallinn, Estonia. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. We're the 2 hot geese.
Honk.
Honk.